Greetings. I just wanted to talk about twin flames here. It's just not letting me add the topic in the title, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk anyways and see if anybody wants to come on and have this discussion. I was inspired to bring this up today. I'm wondering if there's a way that I can add it still. But anyway, I want to talk about twin flames, and I want to talk about how distorted our spiritual community is in terms of twin flames, fake ones, and people who haven't truly gone through Ascension that are claiming the twin flame topic. Because as you guys know, with the whole Netflix documentary with Twin Flame Universe, there is a lot of distortion out there, and there's a lot of people who are taking the information and really doing great harm to humanity, even in the Ascension process, and really in the long run prevents Ascension for people. I'm going to give it a second here. Let a couple people get on. But anyway, I was very inspired to come on and talk about this twin flame distortion, because there's so many people now that are even more confused than they were before about this topic. And this topic is a very, very sacred subject, because twin flames are truly celestial beings. They are celestial mates. They are married mates from billions of years ago in the non-physical world. And they've spent eons of time taking different incarnations, going even to different planetary systems, having thousands of lifetimes on Earth before they finally unite together. It's a very highly, highly sacred situation. And now we have the masses in humanity taking the information and really just mimicking it. A lot of them are not enlightened. And truthfully, you're not going to join with a twin flame if you haven't gone through full-blown enlightenment, which is very, very rare. That's less than 1% of humanity. So we have a whole lot of people out there that are feeling resonant with the topic, which is good. We want people to resonate with the information to help awaken your soul. But we also need to be extremely careful, because there's so many people like the frauds at Twin Flame Universe that have taken that language and they've distorted it and used it really as a weapon to harm their followers, who are as you guys probably saw the documentary, there's a lot of people who got harmed in that scenario. And there's a lot of fake twin flame coaches and fake Ascension guides now that are calling themselves Ascension guides. They have no clue that Ascension means traveling off Earth and going through all of the different dimensions and going through all the stargates and returning to Source. It's a very big deal. And so there's a lot of problems there, but I would love to have a little conversation with you guys and answer some questions if anybody's interested in having this discussion, because I've taught on twin flames for over 20 years. I've gone through Christ conscious enlightenment. I've gone through death experiences. I've traveled stargates. I know how to, I've walked in and out of stargates. I know how to come in and out of body at will through Ascension processes. And, I was given the choice to even come back to Earth and assist humanity. I could have stayed on the other side, and I was given a choice to return, as many other adepts have gone through that as well. So to go through some here to answer some questions, but I was very called to come on and address this subject, because there's so much distortion on the subject of twin flames all throughout the spiritual community. And there's so many that are taking the terms and kind of turning it into a third density perspective, when it really has to do with absolutely with Ascension and with enlightenment. In fact, there are most of the twin flames that I know, and there are, I would say several, even though it's a small collective still, there are several who are true ascended master twin flames, many of which who are not in physical union and probably never will be, some because their other counterpart has returned to Source, and one stayed in physical form and the other didn't, and some because they just have their own specific spiritual journey, and they are united in spirit. They're united energetically, and maybe you're going to see them spend a lifetime what seems to be alone in the physical, when in reality they're truly merged. And so you have to understand that the twin flames you don't have to see a twin flame sitting next to each other side by side in the flesh. That's not what the twin flames are about. The twin flames is about joining the masculine and feminine, inner Christos and inner Sophia being together in spirit. And what's going to happen in the physical is going to happen. Everybody's journey is different. So many who go through that process, that hierogamous union and that hierogamous marriage, some do not come together in the flesh. I know a couple right now that are legitimate twin flames, and they're not together in the flesh, partially because one of them's elderly and he's in a retirement home and he can't get out of there. He's older, and this happens. So the idea that you think you have to find a twin flame that you're going to be sitting next to and holding hands, and those are the ones to look up to, like the ones at Twin Flame Universe Frauds, is absolutely ludicrous, because this is like cosplay. They're like cosplaying what twin flames really are. And so the spirit wanted me to come and address this subject today, because it's really detrimental to the process of divine order, that the source chooses who's going to get anointed and gives information to those souls, and then asks them to come forth and teach, and then they teach, and then somebody else copies the information. Now you got these copycat twin flames out there, and these copycat ascension teachers that aren't legitimate, and they were not anointed by source either. And so it creates all the problems that we have in the world when it comes to spirituality. All of our religions were copycatted from some ascended master somewhere. Somebody copied something this person said, and they created a religion over here. And that's what's happening even in the New Age spiritual community, where dime a dozen galactic readers and twin flames and all these things who truly are not ascended master souls. And so I would love to hear your guys' feedback and see how you guys feel about this. How confusing is that for you if you're on the ascension journey? How, what are you guys feeling about this? Because again, I was called to come on and just address it. It's a big problem for humanity, because what happens is if you start to follow a false teacher and they give you false information, it literally traps your spirit energy, and it literally can prevent you from going through ascension. And we call these soul traps. They are soul traps. Oh, thank you for the heart. I'm going to try to get better at doing these lives here, so hopefully I'll learn how to use this app a little bit more. I'm slowly getting there with all the different apps, but I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I'm just kind of reading some of these comments here. Thank you, Karen. Oh, I was wondering about you. I hadn't seen you for a while. I was hoping you were doing good. We have to catch up one of these days on Facebook when you get a chance. Karen knows. She's watched a lot of stuff over the years. She's known me in person for a long time, and she's watched me teach on these subjects for a long time also. We seem to have ourselves a little troll here. Is the twin flame an important part of ascension? The twin flame is a gift after ascension. So that's why there's so much confusion about twin flames and ascension, is that you can ascend without a twin flame. You don't need one to go through the ascension process. But once you achieve certain levels, very high level of ascension, that's when you're going to have what we call an initiation. That's why my twin flame group is called Twin Flame Initiates. It's a spiritual initiation and a very high level one. It's a very, very, very sacred thing. And frankly, I wish that we would have never brought the subject up to the collective, because it's become bastardized like so many other spiritual things that you bring forth because you want to help humanity. And unfortunately, it just gets muddied up. And part of this is because of the way that the monkey mind works, the ego mind. that it's like a mirror in the mind, and it creates like different projections and reflections, and people perceive everything differently. And so when we bring forth the information, a lot of people want to resonate with it, and you should resonate with the information because it's for everyone. But it's also something that is rare for an initiation of twin flame to happen. It comes absolutely with true enlightenment. And as you guys know, or you should know, there's not very many true enlightened masters on the earth. It's less than 1% of humanity that is a true enlightened master. And so you get all these others that are copycatting and mimicking, and they're pretenders. They're pretend twin flame coaches and pretend ascension guides and even pretend mediums. And even pretend galactic starseed guides. There's big one that I had a huge issue with on X the other day, because he is telling his almost 200,000 followers that nobody's ascended yet. And that is absolutely untrue. People have ascended. The ascended master souls are the souls who have ascended to source, gone through Christ conscious enlightenment, and been given a choice to come back to earth. And so if they're telling you that nobody's ascended, that's absolutely untrue. Source will take those souls and show them the story of humanity as what happened to me. As I was shown the story of humanity, I was shown the whole thing. I was shown all the stories about the Anunnakis. I was shown the galactic stories. I didn't know any of that. I was shown by Source. And then I was given the opportunity to come back to Earth and to assist, because I could have stayed on the other side and I could have assisted like an angel on the other side. But I was given the choice to come back into the earth plane with the knowledge, the wisdom that Source gave me through enlightenment. And that's what happens when a soul goes through enlightenment. Now, if somebody's telling you that nobody's ascended, you should be very careful taking ascension guidance from somebody who's never ascended. That's like taking guidance on how to get rich from somebody that lives in a trailer park. It's you gotta be careful out there, guys. You gotta be careful. So same thing with twin flames. Anybody can get a partner and hold hands with each other and date and say, yeah, we're twin flames and we're going to teach you all these coaching programs. Sign up over here and learn coaching and we'll make you an ascension teacher. That's what the twin flame universe did. We'll make you an ascension teacher. No, you're not going to learn how to be an ascension teacher from anybody other than God. Only through enlightenment. So if they're telling you that, you're getting sold a whole pile of crap. Now, ascension teachers and ascension guides, real ones, can teach you how to heal yourself, can teach you how to evolve, can teach you how to go through vibrational healing, can teach you about ascension, can teach you about enlightenment, can teach you about spirituality. But nobody can make you an ascension guide except for Source, unless you want to be a fraud. And with that comes karma. And so, how much karma are people creating when they are harming people because they're misleading them on subjects that they really don't have an understanding of and that they haven't been called by Source to teach on. It's a holy thing. You guys are so awesome. Thank you for all of these badges. I have no idea what they mean, but thank you. So anyway, yes, again, I was really, really drawn to this because I saw another page out there, and I know that this person is also a false twin flame. And I know that they learned the twin flame teachings from the twin flame universe, who, by the way, used to go in my group 10 years ago on twin flame initiates in Facebook, and they used to funnel all of my people out of my group to funnel them into their expensive program. And so that's also unethical, and it's also impure energetically, and that's how they behaved even back then 10 years ago. So those are, speaking of grifters, those are very big red flags for somebody, because somebody in the light would never do something like that. They wouldn't harm another in order to gain personal gain for themselves. So that's something that you have to watch for too. There's so many red flags, and in the end, the only way to really get through your ascension journey is to always trust your spirit and your intuition. And so, because some of these guys, like I said, they're very, very good. They say really nice things. They use really fancy words, and they sound like they know what they're talking about, but they're not. And they don't truly have alignment. And so it creates a lot of karma and a lot of problems for people that are following them and that are looking for guidance, because they just are hurting them. Thank you, Daryl. Now, at the core root of your being, you have the potentiality for twin flame union. You have a divine counterpart. You're made that way. You're made masculine and feminine in your soul. You are a divine being, and you have true love is your destiny. That's the case for everyone. It is. But at the same point, ascension itself and enlightenment itself is pretty rare still. And so we have to be careful with that, because it's important that you understand that there's stages within that, so that you don't cut yourself off from your own growth by following somebody that just waves a little wand and tells you that you're the ascension teacher now. Without ascending, how can you teach somebody else how to return to source if you haven't yet? Benjamin's asking, will humanity experience a pole shift in the near future? And I'm going to say absolutely not. There was one. We've usually have pole shifts every few thousand years. We were shown from the higher realms, at least I was, that we were coming in, some of us were called in to stop that from happening, so that the pole shift won't happen this time, in order to restore the blueprint. The pole shift's kind of happening timeline after timeline, because they were wiping out information and causing a total reset. And the Guardian Alliance, who are angelic beings from other dimensions, wanted to prevent that from happening this time, so that we could get through this stellar ascension cycle. And so, no, we're here to stop that from happening, so you don't have to worry about the pole shift. I know there's people out there saying, oh yeah, it's coming. No, we came to stop it. I don't know those names, Rivers. I'm just reading a couple comments here. So yeah, that you don't have to worry about the pole shift, because the pole shift is really, if you guys want to get deep on galactic conversations here, which, by the way, if somebody's claiming to be a twin flame and they don't know anything about the galactic story or the Anunnakis, then they don't have the knowledge from source. So be careful. But anyway, the pole shifting also is really it's really a technology that was used by negative aliens, and it threw the Earth off kilter. And so the Earth plane itself has been kind of falling off of its axis and going into a descending state, which is why we're in this timeline with the Ascension portal, where the new Earth is we're bringing new Earth back into her pranic cycle, her pranic state of being, and the old one is falling. It's kind of like a snake, where it will shed the old skin, and the old skin will fall away, and the snake will come out with new skin. That's kind of what's happening under the Earth plane right now. And at the same time, the axis itself, what you're talking about with the pole shift, is because we've been pulled out of access. We've been pulled out of prana through negative ET technologies. And the Guardian Alliance, which are the Brotherhood of Light, are here battling the Brotherhood of Darkness in order to restore the Earth herself back on her axis, so that we can go through the planetary ascension where she can ascend fully. She can't ascend if the Earth has fallen off the axis. That's really what that pole shifting was about. It was technologies from negative ETs. So again, it's just, we don't, it's really frustrating because we love everybody, but there's just so much damage that happens when people start trying to teach on subjects that they really, really, really haven't been anointed through enlightenment. These are sacred teachings, and they should be taught only by those who have gone through all of the initiations and been anointed, and those are the enlightened beings. So unfortunately, we have a lot of people that are kind of claiming the throne when they haven't first been given the grace of the divine in order to do that. And that's very impure. And so why would you want to follow or learn from somebody that is unclean that way in spirit? It of course has spiritual consequences also, because they can access your spiritual energy, they can feed on your soul body, they can prevent your ascension. A lot of times the people who are doing that do work for negative beings, whether it be negative ETs or negative demons. And so a lot of times what they're doing there, they're doing also to prevent your ascension. So following a false prophet can absolutely prevent your ascension also. You had a feeling Zeta Talk was being fed false information. Well, you always have to trust your own intuition, and that's, at the end of the day, that's what you need, is you need to trust yourself. That is really part of ascension. So I have people all the time coming to me, is this person good? Is this person bad? And I mean, sometimes if I'm called to call somebody out, I will, but I generally don't, because it's your job to trust your own soul. That is the journey of ascension. I will come and tell you, like I'm doing today, to be careful, because 95% of the teachers out there are literally not ascended master souls. And so you're getting a lot of people that are copycatting Ashiana Dean. You're getting a lot of people that are copycatting, the twin flame subjects. You're getting a lot of people that are copycatting galactic teachings, many of which who are spreading false information because they're copycatting fakes. And so now you're getting a fake. You're getting a double fake. And so there's a lot of problems that can happen with that, because ascension also has to do with energy, and your energy, and being aligned with truth. Ascension and spirit, source, the Holy Spirit, is connected to divine truth. And that's how your DNA activates. If you're not living in divine truth, your DNA is not going to activate, because you're creating energetic blocks for it by buying into lies. That it really is, in a way, that simple. The battle between good and evil, for sure. It really actually is. And in some ways you could say darkness and light, because those that are doing evil are in the dark. And a lot of times they think that they're the most virtuous people on the planet. So sometimes these fake teachers, they really, really believe that they're doing good works. They don't even know that they're working for dark forces, because they're so caught in delusion. They're so caught in their own ego, spiritual ego, that they believe that they're doing good work, and they don't understand, because they haven't ascended and seen things from other dimensions where source shows you exactly what's going on from other realms. They don't understand the damage that they're doing by spreading false information, and how that affects all the souls. So it's very detrimental. And yeah, at the end, you have to learn to trust your intuition and not get so caught up in your mind of thinking, oh, are they saying the right words? There's a lot of people out there saying the right words that don't have the right energy. And in the end, you have to begin to start to understand energy behind people, because it's the energy that is going to tell you everything that you need to know. Had a fraudster ending his TikTok live and blocking me because he forgot to put on his color lenses. I don't know what color lenses are. So again, I was just inspired, especially on the twin flame topic, because there's, these twin flame universe people, they went into my group about 10 years ago. I have a group called Twin Flame Initiates. It's got about 44,000 people in it on Facebook. And I stopped teaching on twin flames in there a long time ago because of them, because they were copycatting information that everybody knew. That anybody that was a real twin flame knew that these guys were frauds. And then they were funneling people into their little system and charging them a bunch of money to teach them how to be Ascension guides and twin flames. And as you guys saw, if you watched the documentary, they were kind of creating a lot of distortions with that. But they've done so much harm to the collective, because in a timeline of Ascension where we're here to lead people into the true alignment with Source, and people were seeking truth in that, they ended up in the hands of very dangerous people who harmed a lot of people in their group. And now they've created so much confusion in the collective that a lot of people don't even believe in twin flames anymore because of them. And that's a tragedy, because what a twin flame really is it is your divine celestial mate. It's the mate that God paired you with. And that happened before you were ever born on Earth. It happened billions of years ago that you were paired with that mate. And when we come to Earth, we forget who that person is, and we go through many journeys. We're infinite years old, and we go through lifetime upon lifetime upon lifetime, even living in other planetary lives, not remembering our celestial mate and feeling a loss of them, or looking for love, looking for true love. And until the soul completes all of their spiritual lessons, which is what samsara is, then they don't get paired back with that partner. That happens through God's holy hand coming in and saying, okay, you've completed your mission, you've completed all of the earth lessons, and now it's time for you to return to your true throne, which is your hierogamous partner. Now, that doesn't happen very often. It's a very rare thing. And so we wanted to help humanity by teaching them about this, but it seems like all that's happened is it's just made more muddied waters and more harm, because everybody's taking the information and perceiving it very differently, and it's kind of created a lot of muddy water. Just read it. Let me read a couple of these. Ascended Starshade portrayed his eyes as very blue, but he was wearing colored contacts. Oh, I see. Okay, well, that's when they're not honest with themselves, they can't be honest with you. Very huge account, but yeah, they're 200,000 followers. There's one like that on X, and he's pretending that he teaches galactic teachings. He has a very large following, and he says that nobody's ever ascended, and that is ludicrous. You can just Google it. Just go to Google, do ascended beings come back to Earth, and you'll see that what they tell you, enlightened souls are the ones who have ascended and returned into body and incarnated again. So just people don't know what they're talking about, and they get seen as gurus when a lot of them are literally just frauds, and they feed on your energy and they mislead you, and a lot of them do work for negative ETs, and the negative ET's job is to mislead you. So if you're misled, you can't find your way back into alignment, and therefore find your way back to Source, and therefore even find your way back to your twin, because you're being misled by frauds. It's literally that dangerous. Very dangerous. Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to put the topic on here, so I'm sorry, guys. Thanks for joining, and I'll try to get a little bit better about coming in and doing lives. I just I have a lot in my own life going on, so I do the best I can, but I was very called today, and sometimes I'm called to do different things. Maybe I'll come in, do readings, maybe I'll come and do like some galactic discussion or twin flame discussion. Today I was just really called to bring this up for anybody that needed to hear it or was meant to hear it, that it's just, you have to use your instincts, and you have to understand too that even though we love everyone, We have to be very careful in the spiritual community because there's so many that think they're doing good and they're not. They're doing harm, or think that they understand something, but they're only understanding from a third density consciousness. And so it's just really difficult for the collective at this time because we've never had the internet, so we've never had masses of ascension teaching spread so widely and so quickly. And so on one hand, it's very, very positive because it's nice to see how many 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds and little youngsters that are learning about star seeds and twin flames and all these things. So it's really cool on one hand. But on the other hand, it's also very dangerous because now everybody thinks that they're a twin flame and ascension teacher, and everybody thinks they're an ascended master soul. And it's going to take away from your true processes of truly ascending and restoring your divine blueprint. When you think that you can just say the words from a mental field instead of actually going through the spiritual evolution of ascended mastery, which is rare. And so, no, there's not a whole lot of everybody awakened everywhere. It's not what people are saying it is. It's really not. I mean, people are awakening in different levels for sure. And that's great to see. But no, there's very rare ascended master souls and very rare enlightened beings, which means there's very rare twin flames. And which means there's very rare beings who have truly ascended into the galactic realms to identify and remember their starseed origins as well. It's easy to go get a reading and say, oh, this person said that I'm a Pleiadian, but if you haven't gone through the initiations of it, then you're kind of missing the boat also. And so it's a fine balance there. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. It's really hard. I don't like to have to be the one that comes out and shines light on all of the bull that's in the spiritual community. It's not the best role to have to play, but it's one that I think needs to be done on a more regular basis because there's just too much fraudulence and too many who are claiming the throne that the divine did not give them yet. And when it comes to enlightenment, you have to understand that is a high level of glory in the eyes of God. And it is something that only God can give to somebody through anointment. And it's something that, of course, all other souls want that glory too. Everybody wants to achieve that because it is restoring grace from the divine. But it happens through true alignment, and you can't force that to happen in yourself, and you can't cheat your way there. That also insults God. So we have a lot of that going on right now, unfortunately. Everyone's trying to be a channel, so it's hard to know who is true. Exactly, that's my point, is everyone wants to be a twin flame coach. Everyone wants to be a channel now. Everyone claims that they're psychic. Everyone claims all these things. And yes, to some degree, everyone has psychic gifts. And yes, to some degree, everyone has certainly got their divine aspects of themselves. But very, very few have truly embodied and actualized themselves and gone through enlightenment, which is necessary in order to teach on it, because otherwise you will not have the codes to the blueprint of heaven. And that is given only to the souls that God anoints when God sees that they're ready. So anybody trying to claim that beforehand is a danger to the spiritual community. And they're a danger to you, because if you're following them and you don't know what's true or not because you yourself haven't ascended, then you're stuck with kind of, well, who do I trust? And that creates problems, because the ones that are being anointed by Source aren't being heard and seen now, because all of these really cutesy little, false light and lovers are out there taking up the space, copycatting language and giving you a lot of false stuff. And it's doing great harm. And I'll give you an example if you guys want an example. I watched one who's got a large following on Instagram, and she was teaching, she does light language. And by the way, light language, just because it's light language doesn't mean it's all good. You could have a demon working in that person, and they're giving you light language that's demonic messages. So sometimes these people don't even know what they're receiving, and they receive it and repeat it. But anyway, this lady was telling people that if you get plastic surgery, it's just fine. There's nothing wrong with it unless you think so. And if your ego mind thinks so, then you'll have problems. And that's just simply not how the mechanics of manifestation work. And it's also not how alignment works. And so she's basically telling people that they're not going to have consequences to their bodies for doing something like that, when that's just simply not true. You can't insult the divine design and play God with your body without a consequence. And yeah, unconditional love for everyone is where it's at, for sure. But love is a very subjective subject, and having love for people means that you're going to hold them accountable when they're not living in alignment, because you love them and you don't want to see them hurt themselves spiritually or physically or any other way, and you don't want to see them hurting other people because you love them. So unconditional love doesn't mean just silent tolerance for things that are unholy and unclean. Thank you, Benjamin. Is this the Benjamin from X? I think I recognize you. The one that truly have it don't want it because it's a big responsibility. Boy, is that the truth. Boy, is that the truth. I often wonder why I chose to come back, except I know why. But it's true that with great gifts come great responsibility. And so when the Holy Spirit and God touch a soul and give them wisdom, it does come with great responsibility. And it's a very big deal. And so that's what a lot of these guys just don't get, and they're eating up and lapping up all the glory of their little followers and stuff that are following along. I think if this is the Benjamin from X, he'll tell you that we had an ordeal this week with some false teacher there that was saying what I was telling you about Ascension, and he didn't believe that anybody's ever ascended before, which is absolutely not true. And he got his followers to attack me for it. So I got eaten up on X. I got badgered by 100 people over it. Because they don't know. They don't understand. Ascension doesn't mean that you have to die. You die in a way when you ascend. Just like a near-death experience where you come out of your body and you return to source. A lot of people who go through near-death experiences don't fully go to source. Most of them don't. That's a little different. Ascension's a little different in that regard. But an out-of-body experience is the same way, near-death and out-of-body, where you can come out of your body and then come back into your body again and tell the tale of what it was like to come out of body. Well, an Ascension master does the same thing, only they can go into the realms and travel the dimensions and get information from source and then come back to earth again. That is absolutely how it works. And so if anybody's telling you, I'm not going to say his name, but if anybody's telling you that can't happen, they're liars, and you should be very careful about why would you take ascension guidance from somebody who's never ascended? How does that make sense? Am I missing something here? Why would you do that? I don't get it. But hey, I'm not going to tell you what you have to do or who you have to follow. I'm just going to tell you that when you follow people that don't know what the F they're talking about, they're going to mislead your spirit, and your spirit's going to pay the consequence for it. And that is the same thing with twin flames, because it's really easy to mimic the twin flame topic. Anybody can say, oh, I have these magnetic feeling, and I've never felt like I work with thousands of clients. I have large audiences in lots of different places all over the internet. And I have clients all the time that come for twin flame readings, and I can tell you right now what they're going to say to me. I had this magnetic attraction. I've never felt this way before. I just felt like home. I know he's the one. I know she's the one. It's my twin flame. Nobody can tell me any different. They're always saying the same things because they've been reading and listening online and watching. But if you say, okay, do you know it's your twin flame? What did Source show you? They don't even have a connection to Source. So how could it be your twin flame if you didn't first go and talk to Source about it? So unfortunately, without that ascension happening, ascension means returning to Source. Literally, that's what happened to Jesus. Jesus said, I saw the face of my Father, because he returned to Source. He and Mary Magdalene, his twin flame, he returned to Source. He saw the face of his Father. An ascended master has gone back to Source literally, and then been shown things from Source and returned. I know this is hard for a lot of people to understand or to believe, but it's true. And that's really what makes someone an ascended master soul and an enlightenment teacher. Truth hurts. It does hurt. And I realized that I don't have as big of a following because I tell the truth. And the truth does hurt to those that are not ready to hear it. It's easier to believe a comforting lie, which is why the Twin Flame universe gathered so many people, and so they became millionaires off of it, because they were promising everyone that they could be Twin Flame Ascension teachers and Twin Flame guides and Twin Flames, and without doing the spiritual work. And so, sorry guys, that's not how it works in the higher dimensions. And you can pay all the money that you want on Earth for some certificate, but you're not going to be able to cheat God. And you should be ashamed of yourself for trying. I don't mean to be mean, but why would you even do that? Why would you try to fool God? Yes, there's many of them doing that kind of damage to souls, and that's the problem, is that creates karma, and it prevents them from ascending, and it prevents them from even joining with their true divine counterpart, because now they're misled, and they're merging with false twins and that kind of a thing, which is in many ways feeds demons. Yeah, I know, Benjamin. Thank you for commenting, because I'm really hidden in the algorithms here too. 20,000 followers and 10 viewers only, because I'm not getting seen. I had another friend say that to me the other day, that she sees all my videos and she's like always trying to comment, because she's like, I don't get why you're not being seen. Well, they got me shadow banned here too. That's what you get when you work in the light. You don't understand how many forces are working behind the scenes to try to hold back the true way showers. They know who we are. They know who we are in every dimension. And they're not trying to hide it. They try to take you down every which way they can, through shadow banning, through the lack of support from the followers who don't want to align with true truth, because there's that too. You get a lot of people in your audiences, especially if you're a way shower, and some of them hate you for telling the truth. And they'll do whatever they can to try to hold your frequency down, because they really, really like to target the true twin flames and the true ascension masters, because they've despised that they knew that we were going to come into this timeline. And they don't want us to do what we're here to do, because they don't want us to truly help you guys. Because if we teach you the real truth, your ascension process will happen a lot faster, right, Benjamin? Benjamin's been learning a lot by following me. They don't want you to, because if you get the truth, you're going to, all of a sudden your DNA will activate, and all of a sudden all your superhuman powers are going to come online, and all of a sudden you're going to start aligning a lot faster, and they don't want that, right? See, Benjamin knows what I'm talking about. And so all we can do is keep trying to bring forth information. I do a lot of stuff privately for these reasons, because every time I post a video on this app, almost every other time it gets flagged, and then they keep me shadow banned, and then nobody sees anything. So it's kind of frustrating. I go through that on YouTube also, and even with X. X is better than some of them, though. And really, honestly, Facebook has turned out to be better than some of them. Maybe all that litigation's creating some positivity there. But again, I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, because at the end, unity consciousness is the truth, that we are all one soul, and that we're here to love one another, and that we're here to help each other. And at some point in time, somewhere in space and time, we will all return to source again, but it's not going to happen in this timeline. Just take a look around at all of the divided energy that happened in the last few years. And so that tells you right there that humanity itself isn't quite ready for a full planetary ascension. But that is our truth, and that is where we'll end up at some point in time, whether people get there through true alignment or whether they get absorbed as stardust to source. But until then, your job is to go through your personal ascension process. And like I said, it's just be careful with who you're following, especially when it comes to twin flame teachers, because if they haven't truly gone through ascension and truly gone through enlightenment, they're going to completely just mislead you. And it's so easy to copycat the words. So just be careful, trust your soul. Trusting your soul is part of your twin flame journey. And if you end up in the hands of a false teacher and you get hurt, it's part of your soul journey too, because you can learn from it. So if you're aligning with false teachers, it's because there's something energetically going on in you that is also not fully ready to be true to yourself. So the bubble's getting too big. Well, there's a lot going on right now, energetically speaking. We're kind of going through some interesting Kundalini changes at this time, and we're moving through a lot of thick energies. This is kind of breaking through it. So hopefully in the next month we'll get a nice breakthrough personally. So if you're feeling that in your personal life and you're dealing with a lot of like sludgy energy since December, it was really bad back then, but it's starting to clear, and it's a little bit still gunky there, but I would say another month or two and you're going to start to get breakthrough in your personal transformation, because we do go through these Kundalini chrism cycles regularly. And we have a very, very interesting and beautiful, combination set of what's happening cosmically in our this year. But again, I think you just want to be careful with yourself. Trust your intuition. That's all. And trust it, and be aware that there's a lot of them out there that just aren't fully aligned. And it doesn't mean they're bad people, because a lot of them are good people, I think. And I think that a lot of them are trying to do good, but some of the things they're saying aren't true. And that's where you're going to get in some trouble, because when you're trying to go through the ascension process, your DNA will get bundled up, your energy will get bundled up when you believe things that aren't true. But give me a second. I feel like I have a spirit guide here, so I just want to hear what they're saying to me. And if there's something they want me to share, then I will. Yeah, disinformation agents. And again, the reason why misinformation or disinformation is harmful to your ascension process is because your DNA carries you to heaven, and it carries you to heaven only if you're aligning with divine truth. So when you start to get into disinformation, the battlefield of your consciousness blocks all of your DNA and all of your energy, and it prevents you from having activations. At the end of the day, that's what it's really about. It's a battlefield of consciousness. I'm just going to take a breath here and see why I'm getting tapped on. How many of you guys are in the Galactic community? I only have 7 people here right now. It's crazy. Thank you for making comments and stuff to help bump their algorithms. It helps to kind of get me back in the game. Maybe I just need to do more lives. So, for those of you that follow me, you know that I work a lot with galactic and angelic beings. And I think I've addressed this many times on this platform too, that a lot of people think that ETs are demons, and some of them are. Absolutely, you better believe it. But some of them are angels. And so that's when you go in the Bible and you hear them talking about angels and demons, they're talking about galactics, but also because we're multidimensional, we have multidimensional aspects to ourselves. And so when we go into the galactic realms, we're talking about some that are positive and some that are negative. When you get into the full celestial realms where the angels are, there's only positive there when you get past the 12th dimension. But in the galactic realms, there's layers of dimensions, and that's where we deal with Pleiadians and Arcturians and Lyrans and all these beings, most of which are angels. A lot of them are negative aliens. And so the battle of good and evil, or of dark and light, it happens from the 11th dimension down. When you ascend, you go through all those dimensions and you learn all these different types of beings, and you see all the wars that are going on in other dimensions, other planetary systems that are still happening to this day. And when you really fully ascend all the way to source and you get beyond the time matrix, beyond the 12th dimension, you won't have the duality anymore. But duality does exist even in some of the higher ascended states of being. And a lot of people don't understand that either. So my point though is that I do work a lot with the Pleiadians and the Lyrans. Lyrans, the same guy who said nobody's ascended said that no Lyrans are on Earth either. And this isn't true, because everybody descended from Lyra at some point. All of the different starseed races, the Syrians, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, they all originally came from Lyra. And Lyra had a battle long, long ago, millions and millions of years ago, billions of years ago, a battle where Lyra was destroyed by negative ETs. And Lyra, then the Lyran beings, went into other planetary systems, merged with some of the different planetary systems, and later helped to birth humanity. So again, just be careful who you're listening to, and trust your intuition and seek your own enlightenment, because until you have your own true enlightenment experiences, you won't have all the keys that you need for your own self, because you'll get shown certain things that your soul needs you to see. And that's really where it's at in the end. Keep going on your processes. Yeah, the majestic 12, because more. That's why some of the ascended master souls from the past, even Thoth, was like an 11.5 dimensional being. He just didn't quite get there. Well, that's why a lot of these people who are claiming to teach on Ascension, they don't have some of the codes, because they didn't get there. They're just copycats. It's tragic. It's the biggest tragedy that there is in this ascension process right now, is the amount of false prophets that are out there that are muddying up the water for everyone. And by the way, if you guys are following people that you know are legitimate, please support them, because it's a heck of a challenge for true teachers to be out here trying to survive and trying to help and trying to lead in such a conflicted timeline. And we do need to support each other, and we do need to stick together as a family of light. So when you feel resonant with somebody and you know that they're legitimately, there for you, be there for them too. We have to stick together. We have to support each other. There's a lot of spiritual vampirism out there. A lot of people just feeding off the light. It's like they siphoned the knowledge from us, and then they go and create these false prophets off of us. But it's a form of vampirism, and it's also very dangerous to be a teacher and just freely out here giving and being fed on. It's called looshing, and it's actually really dangerous. So that's why I've taken a lot of my work private, because I just don't want to do that. I'd rather work on books than get fed on like that. Thank you very much. I want to help, but I don't want to be eaten to death over it. So anyway, for those of you that are new, I'm sorry I didn't put a title. I tried to, and I couldn't figure out how to put the title of this topic. But I was called to come on and just talk a little bit about the need to be cautious of fake twin flame coaches out there, because there are real, legitimate twin flames on this earth right now who truly, truly have gone back to source, just like Christ and Mary Magdalene did, and gotten all the codes, gone through hierogamous marriage, a celestial marriage, and then returned to earth in order to help teach those teachings here. And there are some that are here right now, and they're very legitimate, but there's also 99.9% of them that are complete. Maybe it's 95%, but there's a lot of them out there that literally just have not. They're claiming all these titles, my divine counterpart this, and my twin flame, my divine masculine, and they really haven't gone through their divinity codes or their divinity activations. Do you know what divine means? Do you know the difference between divine versus an everyday human? Do you know what separates the divine from the diabolical? And if they don't, then, well, I would be careful getting some information from them. What separates the diabolical from the divine when it comes to twin flames? Anyone know? I would love to hear your feedback. Because there's a very big difference between an everyday human relationship and a divine union. Very big. And it has to do with divinity codes. And I'm okay with people not liking me, because if you don't like me because I tell the truth, well, you're just not ready for the truth, and that's okay. You don't have to like me. I'm not getting paid for it, I don't want fake friends anyways, You're either legitimately ready to tune in to the vibration of truth, or you're just simply not. And I'm at a place in my life where I don't have time for anything other than legitimate, divinely aligned people who are ready to grow and who value me and who value what I have to share. So I'm not bothered by people that don't like me or that don't want to align with truth. I'd really rather you not follow me if you're in that state of being. I'm not impressed with big numbers. I'm impressed with souls that are legitimately recognizing the sound of truth and the frequency of truth. Thank you, Benjamin. Well, at least you're honest, and that's okay. And learning is, as time goes on and you keep learning, it will start to resonate in your soul, And when it's time for you to understand, you'll fully understand. Some people won't understand it all in this lifetime. Some of them aren't even really meant to, I think it was trying to cut me off there. I had to prove that I was a real life human to stay on here. Does M take our relationship more serious since our argument? Does M? I'm not sure what that means. Like I said, a twin flame is a celestial partner. Remember when I talked about the fact that we have different multi-dimensional aspects of ourselves? We have this little 3D human, which is like a very small part of your soul. And then we have little pieces of ourself that exist in other dimensional aspects, all the way back up to source again. And a twin flame is a source celestial partner that you've been married with through alchemical merging, through source. Source married you together in spirit before time existed. And finding that again on Earth is really, really unusual and rare. And that's why there's so many that are taking the language and bastardizing it. And but it doesn't mean that everybody doesn't have that. It just means that you have to go through certain initiations and enlightenment to achieve that type of union. And of course people aren't going to like it when I say that, because it's not as easy as me just signing you up for my course over here so that I can make you a twin flame, right? There's no cheating the gods, though. Gods. That's right. It's interesting how most people teach twin flame as a material event. Well, I'm talking about multidimensionality, and I'm talking about the celestial mate. Celestial is a very high level. It's something that was only achieved through true alignment, absolute true enlightenment and alignment. And so it's a very big deal, and that's why it's absolutely insulting to the divine and to the ascended master souls to claim that you're a twin flame when you're not, because it insults the holy order, honestly. And that's between you and the divine. It's not I'm not here to tell you what to do or what not to do, but I can just say that's not something that you're going to like down the road that you did. Now, from a third dimensional perspective, everyday people that are in relationships can take some of those same twin flame teachings and learn how to work with them in your relationships, because they sort of do apply to everyone in a way, in the sense that you can learn to mirror one another, and you can learn you can learn from anybody that you date. But what does that have to do with enlightenment in the end? I mean, it will lead you there over time as you keep learning everything that you have to learn on your journey. But again, it's a complete graduation from the realms, not just this realm, the other realms. I don't know who that was that tried to join in here. I don't let people join if I don't know you. I'm not really interested in doing that at this time. You can leave questions in the comments, though. So anyway, that was the point of wanting to come on, is just, talking about that. And I think it is, again, important that you understand that because we're multidimensional, if a soul's claiming to teach on things and they don't understand all those realms, that's probably one of your first signs to be a little cautious. Somebody who has ascended knows what all of the different realms represent. And yes, the twin flame union, it really doesn't have to manifest in the physical form. It can, but sometimes it's not going to, and it doesn't mean that soul isn't fully merged with their twin flame, because their twin flame might not even be incarnate, and they're fully merged and they're fully bonded together, and they've gone through hierogamous union and they're perfectly united, and nobody will know, because you're just going to look at them and it's that person alone. Whereas these fake twin flame teachers think that the whole thing is about sitting side by side and showing the world how perfect we are as a couple. That has nothing to do with twin flames at all, honestly. Most twin flames are not sitting side by side with each other like that. Some are, but a lot of times they're not. And there's reasons why spiritually, because we're here for a totally different mission. And because we're multidimensional, we already are united in all the other realms. It's kind of laughable. And we're united in this realm too in spirit. So I can sit here right now and I can tell you what my twin flame is saying right now to you guys. And you guys won't know that he's sitting here talking to me. That's how true enlightenment looks and true twin flame union. I'm never alone. My twin flame is always with me in all dimensions, everywhere, because we married celestially and all the way down, and we are united from heaven to earth. And it has nothing to do with our bodies, because the body is an illusion. Now, that doesn't mean that he and I haven't met and merged and come together in the physical world, but it just means that I don't have to have him sitting here all day to be sitting here. He's sitting here right now. You know, are you trying to see things from your third dimensional perspective, or are you trying to see things from 5D and beyond, which is what Ascension is about? If you're so caught in the third dimensional perspective, you're not going to get in 5D. It doesn't work that way. You got to let that stuff go. And you got to start tapping into the frequency and the energy of the higher dimensional states, because that's where true union happens. And that's when you graduate out of this really low, dense frequency of 3D. And so now you got all these 3D twin flame teachers out there that are all about showing each other how cute we are with our little Hallmark romance. It has nothing to do with twin flame union. Nothing. Yeah, Benjamin, I would encourage you to join my Patreon, please, because I don't go into real deep stuff like that here. I do that in my mystery school and I do private channelings, and I do twin flame. I do, hierogamous discussions and inner Christos teachings and things like that. You can sign up right now on Patreon, and also we're going to start the mystery school soon. So those esoteric questions we can discuss there. I don't come here and do these very often live, partially because I'm so shadow banned. It's almost kind of pointless. 12 people all day long that pop on here. It's kind of like not worth my time, really. I have so many other things I can do with my energy. But if you really, truly want to honor my teachings and my work, and you want to ask questions, you can sign up in Patreon. I would appreciate your support, and I will see you there. I definitely don't want to be answering questions that are going to get me bumped here, because I already go through enough of that as it is. The disinformation agents are working for negative ETs. And their whole goal is to keep twin flames apart, because twin flames are the ultimate of the completion cycles of heaven and earth codes that Source wanted. That was the point of the mission of coming into earth and being able to descend into darkness and return again into the union. It's an epic story, really, if you understand. And that is the whole point of them trying to keep twin flames separated through all of the realms. They've been doing this through all of the realms for billions of years. And so the reason why it's such a big deal when twin flames come together is because they've spent billions of years looking for each other. And these negative ETs are negative beings, demons, brotherhood of darkness. They want the twin flames to be separated because they can feed on your energy and they can damage your spirit and they can prevent you from returning to source. So in a way, it's an attack on God. And also, if you are separated from your twin flame, you're going to be very disempowered, energetically speaking. And you won't be able to activate your multidimensional gifts. So it's a big deal. If you guys are interested in joining my Patreon, you can go to my website, ellenred.com, and sign up there. The mystery school will be starting hopefully in a couple of months, but I do teach a lot of stuff privately there. I don't do a lot of that in public, partially because I'm really getting tired of being fed on by false prophets, for one thing. And some of the teachings I don't feel should be put out in the public anymore. I've seen enough harm in the last 20 years with the twin flame and ascension topics and all of the people claiming to be galactic guides and all these frauds everywhere. I don't have any desire really to do a lot of that out in the open anymore. I do share a lot openly, but I don't put everything out there. I just don't think that it should all be out there anyway. The veil is kind of lifting for some. Thank you, X. Yes, that's a good point. Please share this live out to others, guys, because that helps also to get more people to see it, and that will help the community. Because again, we're not saying that we don't love everyone. We do love everyone. We just are wanting you guys to understand the difference between a true ascended master soul versus an everyday human that's taking the ascension teachings and kind of perceiving it from their mental body, as opposed to true enlightenment and the damage that it causes. So thank you, X, for reminding me about that. I appreciate it. But if you guys like to share it out so that more people can see it, that would be really appreciated. And the veil's lifted in some ways, for sure, for some people, absolutely. But I think that for others it hasn't, because there's a lot who are still descending, and the further they descend, the thicker the veil is for them. And so that's where we have the timeline split and the split earth, that we have some that are rising, and as they're ascending, their veil is becoming thin. And then the others that are descending, their veil is actually becoming thicker because they're getting into denser energy. So I think the reality is different for different people based on where they're at in frequency. Krista, I feel I know you. Well, maybe you know me in spirit. Sometimes I do like starseed readings on here and stuff. I haven't lately, but sometimes I'll do channelings and things. I came on this time more just to kind of have a discussion, and you're welcome. If you guys want to do readings in private, you can reach out to me. But today I just wanted to come on and talk about the whole twin flame thing and how there's so much hijacking in that community. And yet at the same time, please don't reject the whole story of twin flames over these frauds, because the story is very true. It's very, very true, and it has to do with your true love that Source made you with, and it also has to do with enlightenment, and it has to do with your celestial graduation into the return of your true purity in your soul. And that is a very real thing. But as we've brought these teachings forth, I've been teaching on it for 20 years. I've lost a lot of accounts over the years, but I've been teaching on this for 20 years, and I have huge followings on Facebook and stuff. The Twin Flame Universe people used to steal all my people out of there, and we caught them many of times. They would get these fake Twin Flame coaches, and they would go into my group, and they would privately message people and move them over into their group, and then they would put them in their programs to teach them false teachings that they were copycatting from people like me, and then they were distorting and twisting up the teachings. And that's when they started to get people hurt, because they were trying to prove to everybody that they could get you in union, and that is ludicrous. Getting into union is a very divine thing that has to happen through ascension and enlightenment. And there is nobody that can get you into union except for you and God, period. So that was their biggest problem, was that they were trying to prove to everybody that they could get you in union if you just paid them enough money and you just did everything they said. And that it defiles God. It absolutely defiles God. That is not the way that this works. And I know that when I say these things, a lot of people don't want to hear it, because they want to hear the sweet little sugar-coated lie. It's so much nicer to hear the lie, isn't it? I want to hear lies too sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. I despise lies now, because I have learned very hard how much damage they do to the soul. But I can see why people like the sweet lie better. I get it. I do get it. Do you have to decide for yourself what you're really living for and what you're really trying to plug yourself into? And the truth can hurt. It really can hurt sometimes, and I'm sorry for that. I think that that's the hardest part of being a truth teller, is that, people don't want to hear it. It means what? It means I'm not a twin flame and I have to go and do some more spiritual work? Or it means I haven't really met my twin flame and this other person who's throwing me down the stairs isn't my twin flame? Or you mean if I got this gender change because this false prophet over here told me to, that I actually damaged myself permanently and it wasn't even true? Yeah, the truth hurts. The truth really, really hurts when you fell for the lie. And that's the hard stuff. That's the hard stuff that we have to look at when we go through true ascension. Yes, Donald Harris's comment there about the medical industry is very true. Thank you for typing it. I don't want to get myself kicked off, so I'll let you say it. Yep. Yeah, there's some good truths there that Donald's sharing. Thank you. Yeah, I don't have freedom of speech, really. I try the best I can, but that's why we have such a small following here. I've been very shadow banned on this app because somebody keeps reporting everything that I say. Somebody out there doesn't want the light to shine for humanity, But in the end, if you develop a relationship with truth, you're going to learn that after you swallow that bitter pill down at first, it's bitter at first, but after you swallow it down and the medicine takes hold of your spirit, it is healing. It's very healing to face the truth. And it's freeing and it's liberating and it opens up your energy centers and it cleans out your auras and it cleans out your chakras and it heals you and it makes you feel good and it gives you strength. And so as hard as the truth is at first to hear, if you're willing to brave up and grab onto it, then it's going to strengthen you and it's going to clean you out and it's going to make you a better person. Yeah, they want to destroy Merkabas. Of course they do. That's what they're after, is the Merkaba, to prevent you and your twin flame, for sure. Yeah, yoga classes can be very good and very healing and very helpful, especially if you get the right ones. I've had yoga classes where they were playing like horrible rap music and the frequency of the music was just so off base that it defeated the purpose of yoga. But if you get the right teachers, and I've had good teachers too, Kundalini teachers, it can be very healing and very good for you. See, that just goes to show you that it doesn't matter. It could be yoga teachers, it could be twin flame coaches, it could be psychic mediums, it can be galactic teachers, and there's good and bad in all things, and so you have to wade your way through it. And that's the truth about the Matrix, is that the Matrix isn't just cut and dry. You have to weed your way through truth and light. You have to have the frequency for truth, because if you don't, you're going to get sucked into things that end up causing you suffering. So, just to kind of recap, the true Christos, the true inner Christos teachings of the Christ oil, the masculine and the feminine energy within you, are part of your alchemical ascension journey. You all have it. Everybody has a divine masculine, divine feminine template. You all have the capacity to ascend and to go through enlightenment. That's the ultimate goal of your spiritual earth journey, is to achieve that. You all have the potential for a twin flame union it's somewhere in space and time you have that. Whether it's here on this earth or not in this timeline is up to you and your soul and source. But you do have to understand that there are initiations that are very high level initiations that the adashi adepts go through, the ascended master souls go through, and the enlightened beings go through in order to achieve those kind of things. And so it's not something that you can just say the words and therefore it is necessarily that's a nice kind of a beginning start, but it certainly is a lot more in depth than that. And so just trust your soul journey, trust your soul, but just a friendly reminder to be really careful, because we saw how much damage the Twin Flame Universe people did and how many people they harmed, and they're only one of a whole lot out there that are like that, and so you just got to be careful. Prodigal Son said that his spirit guides are a-holes. No, they're not. They might seem like it sometimes, but they're not. It's probably the other way around. It usually is. If you ascend, can you choose anywhere where you reincarnate on the next plane? You can choose anywhere that you want to go when you ascend beyond this realm, and your soul will get to choose. You can choose whether you're going to come back here or not. You may have some contracts that you're going to make with Source. So to some degree, you'll get to choose the next plane that you go on, but it's going to be a mutual choice between yourself, your high soul, and Source. So if you want to go somewhere and Source doesn't feel you're ready to, you won't get to. But if you're ready to, and your soul and Source believe that you can choose it, then yes. So some that have ascended, like for me, when I went through that, I was taken fully back to Source, and I was given the choice. I was shown all the was taken fully back to Source, and I was given the choice. I was shown all the realms, and I was shown the whole story, and I was given the choice to stay on the other side and to work there and help humanity, or to come back into my body and to assist humanity here in what we call the front lines. We call this the front lines of the Amente rescue mission, because the Guardian Alliance, like myself, saw very, very, very extreme situation with negative aliens and what's happening, and how Earth is really in a very dangerous timeline right now. And we saw how if Earth continues to ascend without all of the guardians that came in from other galactic realms to assist, if Earth were to continue falling, it would destroy all of creation. And so it was a very big deal, and that's why a lot of angelic humanity came into the Earth plane in this time from many different dimensions, many other realms, many other galaxies, to assist in this process, because it is critical. And that's why it's okay that everybody's in different stages of ascension and different stages of awakening. We do love everyone wherever they are. We just want to bring forth the understanding that there are layers of ascension, and there are levels of truth. And so if you're in a third density state of consciousness and you're perceiving the twin flame journey from a third density state of consciousness, it's going to be true for you in that third density state. But that doesn't mean that it's the full, complete, ascended version of what a twin flame story is really, really about. And so it's just wherever people are is where they're going to receive the information, I suppose. But yeah, to some degree, when you ascend, you are given that choice. And many, like myself, were given the choice to come back or not. And we chose to come back because of what we were shown. It's extraordinary what's going on in this timeline. It's extraordinary what's going on in the 4D, because the 4D it's a big deal right now. Why would you choose to reincarnate back to this place? This place is a dumpster fire. Well, Eddie, I chose to come back because I love humanity. I chose to come back because I don't want to see my daughter or my grandchildren or future children suffer in the ways that they've been suffering. I chose to come back to do my part to try to help humanity end karmic cycles. I chose to come back to help people understand that there's 4D entities that are affecting you and you don't realize it. I chose to come back because I wouldn't want to live with myself if I were the kind of person that could just throw everybody away and say, I'm good, it's all about me. I'm not a narcissist. I might have tendencies like everybody, or at least I have in different timelines in the past. But that's not what I'm about. I'm here to help humanity. I chose to come back as a sacrifice, in a sense, to assist humanity because we, as a collective, will never have a happy future, even in other timelines, even in other dimensions, if we were to stand there and witness our brothers and sisters getting eaten alive by demons. That's why. And the only reason why this place is what you call a dumpster fire is because people aren't taking accountability for themselves. People aren't taking accountability for their brothers and sisters. People aren't remembering the rules of love. People aren't helping each other. People are being self-serving, service to self. People are violating the earth. It wouldn't be a dumpster fire if people would take accountability. And that's what we're here to help people understand, is that we are the change. We, all of us. So, hope that helped. I believe I'm done on dating anyway. Isn't the same as it was 20 years ago. Well, sometimes reaching that place where you're kind of, you need to back up from it is the place where you begin to find yourself. And that's how you learn to go into gnosis. And so being alone is where you're going to find gnosis. And when you find gnosis, you'll find nirvana. And nirvana is where all the happy stuff is. And it's like the moment that you're not looking for it, you find it, if you will. So there's nothing wrong with being alone. Being alone is the way to heaven in a lot of ways, because it takes you into your inner kingdom or queendom. And that's where your hierogamous connection really is. So just as Jesus said, the kingdom is within you. And so aloneness is one of my favorite places to be as a twin flame. Thank you, Eddie. It was a very hard avatar to have, especially in my 20s, because women hate beautiful women. If they're toxic, if they're in their toxic femininity, they will destroy you as a woman. And that creates a lot of suffering too. So that's damaging. And then of course we know how the masculines feel about women too. So it taught me a lot really fast. Let's just put it that way. Really shattering difference in how you feel a body count now and 5 years ago. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Benjamin, because I think that a lot of masculines have been conditioned in society to think that it's okay for them to have a high body count and not feminines, when in reality it's on a spiritual level, it's damaging on both sides, and there's karma that comes with it too. One thing I don't do is respond to negative energy. So if you project that here, it will be ignored. That's right. The kingdom and queendom is within. And that's where all the magic is in the end. And that's why it's pretty laughable when you see these fake twin flame teachers out there with their little lover next to them. Now, I'm not saying that twin flames aren't both physical and can't both come together, but I'm saying that it's kind of like, it's almost sort of goofy to project that as really what a union looks like, when union is something that is sacred, and it's something that's spiritual, and it's something that happens within, and it shouldn't be exploited in the public. And so that's why I kind of get really turned off with even teaching on twin flames, even though I should be teaching on it so I can help people understand the true path. But and I do teach it in private, but I don't put a lot out there anymore in public because it just gets exploited by the wrong people, and then it does a lot of damage. But today I was called to come and talk a little bit about it again. You know, I've been on a lot of interviews on different radio shows and stuff throughout the years, and I just have gotten disheartened by the frauds in the community. It's very devastating to see. But I will keep teaching. I get a little disappointed. It's hurtful to go through so much as a soul, to truly be in the 144, to truly be anointed, and then to see all of this other stuff going on. It's just, it's very disheartening. A lot of them, a lot of teachers out there, it's really really easy to put on a show, and because it's so easy to just say fake things. Like, I could sit here all day long and talk to you guys about raising your frequency and tell you that everything's wonderful and you're just this, that, and the other, and I'd have the biggest following on earth. But I just am not, I don't have it in me to be dishonest. I am too honest, and I'm also a shadow healer. And so I really focus more on the shadow healing, because if you don't get into that, you don't really get the real ascension anyways. And so that's just my style. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with anybody else doing whatever they're doing, but I am just saying it's my style to have to do the shadow work, to help you with the shadow work, and to help you understand the deeper layers of things in order to get to the higher. So it's kind of like, you can't, the deeper you dive, the higher you fly. And a lot of people aren't very deep. There's a lot of shallow, even shallow spiritual teachers out there that just haven't dug deep enough in the shadow of reality in order to be able to fly high enough. So anyways, thank you guys for joining. And like I said, feel free to share this out so that other people can join. That would help. And I think I think I've been on for a little while, have I? I don't know how long I've been on. It's been a while. Yeah. So I just wanted to share this information, and I just wanted to remind you guys to be understand that there's different people teaching from different states of frequency, and you have to decide for yourself what state of frequency you're going to be on, so that you know where you want to plug your energy into. If you're only operating in third density frequency, you're only going to gain third density reflections, even in your teachers. And if you're operating in a seventh dimensional frequency, you're going to pick up some much higher type teachings, and so on and so forth. But if you're going to go to a true teacher, you're going to understand too that most of the real legitimate teachers of gnosis and alchemy, they are they are going to teach you things that make you face truth. And it's not always light and love. Sometimes they're going to show you some things that are occultish, or that are aspects of yourself that you don't want to see. Even if you were to take ayahuasca, the plant, Mother Earth's medicine, is still going to show you some shadow. So if you're not willing to see the shadow, then you're really not willing to ascend, because you're just trying to do it from the wrong perspective, from ego. God Emmanuel is slow to anger, yes, but that doesn't mean that the emotion of anger is unnatural. It's coded into your system, just like every other emotion, because that's how God designed you. And so every one of your emotions has something to teach you. But we don't just walk around being angry all the time and lashing out on people. That's a person who's not managed their energy well. Only souls with a hard story will be able to handle the hard truths. True. True. That's why God gives the toughest battles to the strongest angels. Hi, Tavia. Endureth through the ages. That's right. And the truth has endured through the ages, because the Essenes and the Ascended Master Souls, they have been here timeline after timeline after timeline after timeline to try to help humanity, because this job is a big job. The battle is a big battle. It's an ongoing for billions and billions of years. And it's so complex because there's so many souls. There's trillions and trillions of souls that we're fighting for. And there's a lot of sorcery, and there's a lot of ET technologies being used on humanity, and there's a lot of souls that are just confused, and there's a lot of layers and a lot of dimensions, and every dimension has different traps. It's complex, guys. It's complex. This is why the angels just can't come in and magically wave a wand and save everyone, because it's a very complicated situation. And this is why it's so important that you take accountability for your individual soul, because you're the only one who can truly save yourself. Well, I'll tell you what, we're getting a lot of disclosure right now, Benjamin, because this is a timeline of the ultimate disclosure so far, because a lot of souls are getting actual activations through the Galactics, and a lot of souls are being taken off planet in UFOs. And a lot of souls are opening their mind finally, just in the last 15 or 20 years that I've watched humanity start talking about ETs. When I first started talking about them 20 years ago, people thought I was nuts. And thank God for David Icke that he was out there, because if he wasn't, I would have had a very difficult time, because I was getting beat up for the stuff that I had seen and knew and was telling people. And now, just 20 years later, there's a lot of people opening their mind to ETs, to starseeds, to galactics, to all of these disclosure topics. And so we're coming there. We're coming a far way. We're getting there. But I think... Well, I'm glad you brought up energy exchange, Benjamin. That's why it's very important to honor the healers too, and to not just take. Give back to each other, help each other. Tavia and I had this discussion the other day, that there's so much parasitic energy even in the people who are claiming to want to learn. They don't understand that we need to support each other. The Wayshores are human too. They need support too. Don't forget that ever. But I think that I'm going to end on that note. I've been on for quite a while, an hour and a half. And so I'm going to end on this note, and I will see you guys next time. And maybe I'll do another live soon. Talk to you later.